House Republicans demanding the DOJ hand over documents related to an FBI informant in contact with the Trump team during the 2016 election by 5 p.m. tonight. Now the president is weighing in, tweeting, quote, "I have tried to stay uninvolved with the Department of Justice and FBI, though I do not legally have to because of the now totally discredited and very expensive witch hunt currently going on. But you do have to ask why the DOJ and FBI aren't giving over requested documents." Here now is Republican Congressman Mike Johnson from Louisiana. He is a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Well, looks like they got 23 minutes. Do you think they're going to hand over the rest of the documents?
Yeah, this is a fateful deadline, Melissa, and we're about to get an answer to a very important question, and that is the leadership of the DOJ, the leadership of the FBI, going to fully comply with a duly authorized congressional subpoena? That's what they have. That's what we've been requesting, and these documents have been requested for quite some time. It's really absurd that it's come to this, but as you know, this will be a fateful deadline here before the end of this hour.
You are going to have Rod Rosenstein and Director Wray in front of the committee on Thursday. What are you going to ask them?
There's a lot to ask. You know, we've seen a systematic level of bias here that's really unprecedented. It's made a lot of the American people question our very institutions, our entire system of justice. I went home over the weekend. I was back in my district in North Louisiana, and people are openly asking the questions, can we trust the Department of Justice? Can we trust the FBI? If we lose faith in those institutions, then our entire republic is really jeopardized. That's the real problem. And we need to ask those at the top leadership positions what they intend to do about this and how to change this going forward.
So we had one of our own legal analysts here, Judge Napolitano, saying earlier today that you could deliver that subpoena to a court and the judge could then demand the documents and look at them and decide if it's proper to hand them over or not. Any thought of doing that?
Well, I'm a former attorney and a litigator. Of course, the judge could do that and hold it in camera and make those decisions. But I would argue, as a constitutional law attorney, the obligation is before the elected representatives in Congress. That's our responsibility. We have an oversight responsibility over these agencies and institutions. And it really does beg the question, is there something they're trying to hide? Why are they not coming forward with the documents? Why would we be required to go to a court to get the truth and the answers that the American people are entitled to? That's the question this afternoon. But
logistically, if they are not handing them over to you, and it seems like they're not, what are you going to do? I mean, how do you get them?
Well, we could, trigger that option of going to the court and demanding them under the court of law. If they weren't turned over at that point, they could be held in contempt, I suppose. But it's really an unprecedented kind of situation that we find ourselves in. We shouldn't have a constitutional crisis over this. It should be as simple as turning over the documents that have been duly requested now for many months.
Okay. I don't want to run out of time without asking about immigration, because the House is expected to vote on a bill this week after delaying the vote from last week. House Republican sources are telling Fox News they're skeptical that anything can get passed, but what do you think?
I share that skepticism. I voted for the Goodlatte bill because I thought it was a reasonable measure, but this compromise bill has some real concerns, real questions. Conservatives like myself are concerned about amnesty provisions that would be in the bill. At least that's the way it looks at us, to us right now. There's a lot of negotiations going on right now to add some things to the bill and enhance it, but the jury's still out, so to speak. We'll have to see what the final bill looks like.
Would you vote yes the way it is?
I wouldn't support the bill in its current form because it does have that amnesty provision, and I'm ultimately concerned about us upholding the rule of law. If we have an amnesty program, it sends a message to the rest of the world that America is really not that serious about enforcing its immigration laws and its border security.
But the argument they make is, I'm sorry, we're running out of time. The argument they make is that it's not really amnesty. What it is they're not deporting DACA folks, but instead they're just giving them time to get on the back of the line behind the people that are already online. That doesn't seem like amnesty. Well,
it's a 6-year renewable status, and at the end of that 6th year, they could begin the green card process. But that is a little bit different avenue than all those who did comply with the law and did seek to come here and immigrate legally and to follow the laws. I think we've got to be very careful about the message this sends about securing our borders and making sure that our immigration laws are duly followed.
What would it have to say on that front to get your vote? What would it have to say?
Well, I think we'd have to refine the language on that. I'm very concerned about not only the appearance, but in reality, this being an amnesty program under any other name. And I think there's a number of conservatives in the House, at least, who share that concern, and probably in the Senate as well.